test. Wow. Hello. Angelo Today it's my birthday stream. Wee! Bum, 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 bum. Today I want to talk about weird guns, weird pew pew, all sort of, well, in the preview, so to speak, all sort of era period. I guess weird in the context of unique, rather than, well, okay, maybe also, what else is considered weird? Let's see, unique, out of the ordinary, exotic, maybe, twisted, modified, uh, not seen in an orthodox way, I guess. And you have, oh, actually quite a list, huh? There's now a list of flintlocks, black powder guns here since, uh, it was most definitely a booming era of firearms. But now there are some rather nice videos I would like to mention. Definitely waking up and searching for, stuff in your browser or YouTube, like weirdest guns, exotic guns, stuff like that. The results were definitely exciting at first, but as we went on, for most it's the outer shell. They don't really know the inside. They know that something goes on the inside, like cartridges, ammunition, but that's about it. So if they see something double-barreled or multi-barreled, wow, right? This is even better. They don't consider the weight, so it's unnatural. And this kind of translates to items. You make a plastic model of it, like an airsoft or a toy. Same thing. It's like, okay, could be the same weight, so it's an upgrade. You go to a video game. It's like, oh, it has more barrels, right? Therefore, it shoots more. Well, yeah, it's an upgrade. You can just look at it progressively, right? Extra damage. Bum, bum. No mechanics, linear RPG game or shooter game. Easy. Uh, Definitely weird on the outside, as in more complex stuff just thrown at the user or whomever looks at it. For example, here's like a quad barrel with not only mirroring itself, it's actually vertical mirroring because you see the matchlocks up and down, not on the side though. Okay. I mean, you dig it. You dig it. Of course, a pepper box, a good old pepper box. Uh, Now again, this is more of a era style you could expect from black powders. Not too early because that would be associated with even night to some extent. Now in video games or in fantasy, this gets elegant. This gets humongous. Short guns, huge blades, decorated with small pointy bits outside, never breaking until the lore says so, or a fight with a boss, stuff like that. And small guns in there that could be appropriately, or usually just wide caliber sticking out of them, which it's nice, exotic. You see massive sword swing around, pew 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 pew, right? Here it moves. Doesn't matter, it's played with oil, petrol, like blood, rust, fires. It's still gonna work unless the fantasy part says otherwise, which is fine. It's fine. It's there to carry on the action. However, if you're remotely going to emulate something and you're not like a pixel art or you're not like a low polygon thing, even something simple like a one shot. You do draw inspiration, right? Like your environment. You want to create a weird gun, but is your environment normal? Not weird? Because if everything around you, you're making and showing somebody from a TV show or a drawing or an animation, 2D, 3D animation, uh, you're showing it to, a 3D environment like a video game. Then what's the environment? Is there like a building made of, bricks, marble, full of gears and steam pipes? Is it like an ethereal place? Like, what are we talking about? What is considered weird at this point? What are you setting the bar to? Because if your firearms look very realistic, it's gonna be a bit off. It's like, okay, here we are, superpowers, and somebody's dropping like a worn out, you know, like firearm. Like, okay, uh, okay. I guess if the character looks around the era, maybe, if it's like a lower, like uh, piece, like, hey, actually, millennia ago, there was a civilization, they left us this. Maybe. Or somebody creates and just happens to look like this. I do see it in manga. Like, oh yeah, you're in another world. Oh, I'm gonna create something. Oh, look what they created. I have no idea. I know the basics, but it came out like this. Even the writing on the side. That's very peculiar. That's very not following what I've seen around the world. Like if it's like a world where it looks like medieval, it has its own writing, and there are dragons, and there's like some sort of magic, making one of the most common items around, like a militia's sword, something that could be enchanted into a magical sword, also as a firearm, kind of makes more sense since people in your magic world who also has to struggle in fantasy as you write with everyday stuff for people to kind of relate to. Don't know what a gun is, they might not necessarily start with this. So as an introduction, you're showing something exquisite, unique, therefore weird. It's a weird sword, which is actually a gun, and then can become a gun. Like, okay, you can at least introduce it, stuff like that, right? Because previously in my live stream, I ranted about activation and appearance of what is it, like abilities, stuff like that. Well, now it's like weird guns. What is weird? I guess you look at it. Is this weird because it has like a ring loops here on your finger, stuff like that? Okay. What does the guy who wants to have it shown wants? Excitement, right? He doesn't want to be slowed down, behind. He wants to do more, right? So it's more powerful. It's very effective against a specific item or boss or NPC or the environment. It might shoot flares. He doesn't care. He just wants something exciting. He doesn't care if the inside is like a rocket ball, whatever, or metallic brass cartridge. He doesn't really care. Initially, for most people, right? You have to kind of introduce it, and slowly, again, with the environment in mind, you could be showing a post-apocalyptic, zombie-infested, virus-infested, survival, like modern era stuff, and they pick up guns, they're rusted, and once in a while they find a revolver. So it's like, okay, take good care of it. You might shoot it once. It's gonna have like a usage in the plot, like, oh my god, use this gun to shoot this bad guy. Wow, like, okay, I can see the kind of finishing on the outside matches like a specific use. We're not gonna have to throw it in your face, the characters holding it all the time, which is actually throwing you the character, and unless he looks cool for some people. So doing things also like disassemble, for most people looks weird. Like it breaks their train of thought. Like, oh my god, you're taking apart? Is this how it looks like? There's like locking lugs and stuff like that. Oh, okay, so and it works if you click it in, which also you can tell them, oh, oh, it wasn't like assembled, carefully, so it broke because someone else did it. Okay, so there's also a plot device in weirdness, in uniqueness, in something that is unknown, like magic. Oh, it's unknown. Most people don't know the inside of this gun. Okay, here you go. Something here. Here's a weird gun. Somebody else pick it, tries to assemble it, it doesn't work right. Oh, okay, yeah, it tracks. It was a weird gun anyway. Because if it would be a common one, and there is like an enemy or something like that, something went wrong. Uh, like why wouldn't he know? Like, is he like a summoned orc or something like that from another world, or is he like a a creature that doesn't know firearms? Maybe, but you know, if you want intense plot, with, lives at stakes, and power creeping goes up, and yeah, to the point of supernatural speeds, moving around faster than their bullets. Yeah, yeah, you could say they're faster than their bullets, or the bullets are gonna be slow, at least for the scenes. Because when you look at the perspectives of people that are not speedsters or not have higher perspective, high like a perceivance, whatever it's called, when they look the fights like two stars moving around like crazy. So firearms in this, because obviously swords at some point are gonna shooting like a ranged slices for some reason, enchanted or not, compressed air or not, like aura or whatever else you're gonna call it. It's fantasy anyways. So guns go pew. That's what most people want to know. They don't care if it's magic and it comes out silently, or like a laser beam without sound. They don't really care. They want to see something exciting. Therefore, weird guns. They're unique. Now, of course, if you know the inside, their history, it's not that unique. Just picking explicitly like items uh, to show like the best ones of them. But however, once in a while, they do appreciate having a nice finish or even rust guns. It's exciting to them showing that hey, there are like rust guns out there, rusted destroyed guns because they were exposed for millennia or after the war, or, like huge armies with knights armor stuff like that, or even some sort of dragon's breath or magical flame destroyed the weapon. It was reassembled from the good guy, or maybe it's a cursed weapon. Ooh, bad guy's weapon. It's a special weapon. Ooh. So a quick search other than the shorts here, and we have Liechtenstein. There's gonna be some shoutouts. Liechtenstein, very good job. Very nice narrative. He used the camera like it was his eyes. It's very nice presentation of what weird can be, right? Uh, and honestly, most people see this, when they hear something. Like this series was very nice to watch. I thought at some point it would be, something bizarre, but no, no, it came out very nice. And Darth Brandybuck, of course. I like this series took so much work. Like Darth Brandybuck did it. I thought it was not going to last long, but he did it, and he made how much? Seven. Right now I'm seeing a seven part. 2 months ago. Oh my god. Eight part. Oh my god. Part eight a month. I have not seen this. I think. Oh my god. I was still after vacation, summer vacation, partying, and kind of missed this one. Oh my god. He started it, right? And he went so nicely picking things to show that it was very interesting, very exciting. He even made an intro, guys. Shout out to Darth Brandyback. Not that he needs one from me, but in case you have missed it, and he shows you stuff, right? Sure, we have common, probably, inspirations and videos we watch like Angelo and other YouTubers and maybe websites or articles, but yeah, like he really nailed it down to what people consider weird guns, and he says like, hey, like this is the reason why it's weird. It has this feature, and it shows you clips, short clips here and there to show you that hey, this is how you hold stuff. Very nice, very nice to see. Uh Now again, if you get too much into it, start getting like an hours long videos, which exciting to some, but when people see weird, it's like this, like oh, huge grenade suppressor scope, like Liechtenstein has here. Yeah. Now you could argue like, oh, a homemade weapon. Does it really look, like unbelievable to some people in context, but not that far into weirdness. It's not like it's shooting rockets, guided rockets, so people can like focus on the rocket like weehoo weehoo weehoo. In a video game, you would do that, right? You would like do something really crazy stuff like that. Crazy, weird. Okay, so weird can also be crazy. Now that I realized it, because if we're speaking again, now another thing we don't really usually see is destruction. We do see sometimes partial destruction after a fight in video games and fantasy, like comics, manga, where they fight each other. It's like, you're pretty strong. Yeah, we have been clashing swords and maces and, our fists. So there's a bit of blood. There's some cracks on the swords. And they take out like another sword or they use like an enchantment or something. So yeah, like since people consider guns to be shooting stuff and limitless and only reload based on the plot or the feeling of it, since they don't usually count or anything, it's not much fun to do so. If you can do it, it's great. But going back saying, hey, you should have like reloaded here since, I have a suspicion that it's to hold that many rounds or whatever, if you haven't told anything. But it's fantasy. So, whomever does it best. Showing destructibility partially adds to the plot. It's my personal opinion, but I have experienced it. You watch a show, it's like at some point you will see a little bit of damage. Like, oh, otherwise, what are you watching, right? Two undestructible items clashing and nothing happened. If it was like a competition, maybe it would be funny. If every single time something way more overpowered would enter and just destroy anything in one shot. But using it again and again, creating effectively a character, even if it's an object, alongside with your main characters or whomever you're depicting there as character. Could be human, could be an alien, could be an item humanized, or maybe it speaks. If it's a show, if it's like a comic, it has like a speech bubble. Why? Don't ask me. It could be because it's sentient, it's fantasy anyway. Maybe it's like a comic strip, but like a short version of the film or show you're watching. I don't know. But you will see it eventually, and it adds to the development, so partially destructibility. And it's not weird until you saw something. Oh, well, all this time, whenever objects were, specific objects like swords or this gun specifically that we made, was getting this is how it was shown. Now this one was special. That once destroyed, it showed something inside, like a magical power source or whatever, or something engineered inside of it that will help the main protagonist defeat the dragon or the bad character or whatever. Okay, there's something there to turn the tables, a twist in the plot, the inner workings. You don't want to keep mentioning the inner workings because it just flies over the head. You know, two people meet, they have their like weapons in their like sides, in their hands or in the back. It's like, hey, you're carrying this? Oh, I'm carrying it. It sometimes doesn't translate well until you're showing moves, a short shrinking, you know, piercing, whatever, or a gun shooting. It might be. Sometimes they do this in the shows or in the comics. They show like a small like a panel or a few seconds of like execution of moves as if it was in their memory or something. Even though they're not actually there doing it, it was like a flashback. Yeah, flashback. They cut off the actual scene and they show you something, which you could interpret it as, you know, 3D models, simulation, something like that. That's the weirdness can get. You're showing something special. You're keeping the destructibility specifically for this one time in the plot. I can see that happen. Okay, like here, like, you see this, and then you have something you consider as common, like a shotgun and a flare gun. But when you're interchanging ammunition, that gets a little bit more interesting. Like most people don't associate this. Most people think shotgun has shotgun ammo, and flares has flare projectiles or whatever. So you know, it's like, oh, you have flares, you can use it here, you can use it here. You can actually, if it's a video game, right click and fold the stack if it has a folding stack and it takes like space, or you can appoint which ammunition to wear. You can unload one gun. It's a bit of a hassle for new players, but you know, it adds to the immersion. It lets people think that, hey, there's this gun there or this pack of ammo, probably. There's this type of opponent. Maybe if I take him down, can I use this? Can I have the ammo for this? Anything big, out of scale of a human, is usually weird. Anything that, you know, makes noises and lights again. You could also apply the logic of firearms, like taking a sword and sending it magically and actuating like a pump action shotgun. Not that they would know what that is in a medieval setting, but you know, for the viewer, it's kind of like, okay, funny, haha. So weird also would apply to funny things. I see. Funny or, you know, unexpected things. You know, like pulling out a sci-fi weapon in a medieval fantasy series, a laser gun, and saying, oh, it's dark magic. Now, this could be a plot or a fragment of like, yeah, we're actually after dystopian, you know, 100,000 years ago, there was advanced civilization and we started or something. Like people say about Fallout and Skyrim, where like, oh, well, in Skyrim there's two moons, in Fallout there's one moon, but there's this plant that's common in both games, therefore Skyrim is chronologically after Fallout. Yeah, I can see that, but well, it's a bit overstretched, and they're keeping them away. Again, swords with unique styles could also be guns, even though you don't know what the gun looks like with the appliance of magic or something else. People even consider aura to be like a biological thing, emission, like in the Ruby universe, different than magic for some reason, but it's magic. Big stuff, mechanical big stuff like Warhammer, right? They seem like they're real. They seem like something get. Oh, it's mechanical thing, right? It's not magical. It's mechanical, but you know, it does everything overpowered. I mean, and I'm talking about specifically Warhammer. I'm speaking about fantasy. If it's like futuristic or nearby sci-fi or maybe industrial cold era stuff, maybe you can make everything superpower, you know, just for the shot. Shoot huge beam lasers whenever you feel like. It could be magical, but you know, if everything around you looks like it, kind of makes sense. Now, if you pull this up and say it's, you know, like forgotten era of gods weapon, and it's like medieval, yeah, it's driving the plot to a summary that, hey, this looks what the setting is in the old days, like something's fishy, or from another parallel galaxy, parallel universe. You pull this from another universe or planet even. This is a driving plot, therefore weird, not in the place that it should be. You know, it could be from the same setting. You know, two fantasy medieval magic systems, and they pull like from another story, like Harry Potter's broom, something like that. It's like very specific. Therefore, there's like a parallel universe or another planet. No way you just made it. Or you can say that you made it, but it's like, yeah, come on. You're obviously indicating something more. Maybe you have memories of another, like, life. Or at least you can make this. If you like a fantasy dwarf, you make this. You can also make a power plant. And you punch out armored vehicles, rockets, whatever. It's like, oh yeah, all this knowledge exists in a dwarf, magically. Somehow. Okay, so you're driving the plot that we should expect more, right? It would be a bummer to show it once and never again. EXP, good show, great show, EXP. Now they get a bit more into the existing stuff, current stuff, so it's pretty length and very nice to watch, very relatable to modern stuff. But I'm talking about they do have weird guns and chopped up guns, messed up guns from Call of Duty. Reviewed Mr. Jewett, I think, who does the editing. Dave, it's Dave. His name is Dave. Dave and Jonathan here are doing a wonderful job. Seeing just being mentally strong to hold their eyes to some Call of Duty monstrosities like MG42 without the butt stack, shortened down, stabby, full rate of fire. It's like, okay, crazy guns like that. So crazy as weird. So you can have crazy ideas like, again, super powerful guns constantly without looking into the power source or how much you're spending. Just constantly, just by the feeling, the plot alone. Also could count as weird. Not only is the like some of the outside that they have shown throughout all fantasy series, or at least made up guns in different settings, modern era, decades ago, decades in the future, and then okay, so we have again. You saw too much of like how to load your shells and stuff like that. And if it's like something more modern, like brass cartridges and some automatic firearms, you could say weird would be the special ones. Oh, you load all these cartridges, but you still need like a shit ton of bullets to drop one enemy, one other guy in PvP or an NPC or a bad guy. But you load with this bullet, a silver bullet. Oh my god, you can take a werewolf down. But even if there are no werewolves, it's like, oh, one shot the enemy. Okay, it's special. So special as in weird, but it's like looking the same, right? It's more of like a mechanical thing. So mechanics can also make simple things, common things, the same things, apply different abilities, therefore can be weird, as in unique abilities. I can see that. Saying somebody, hey dude, do you know if you go to this place and buy this ammunition, it's either intended in a video game or you glitch it out? Glitches are also considered unique and break stuff that shouldn't be there, therefore weird. So yeah, you could apply glitches and unique, very powerful items in common skins have massive like advantage and call it weird. You could argue that having a weird gun could be due to micromanaging and efficiency. Like, oh, there's this guide, this meta guide in this shooter game that if you buy this gun and you follow this line of attachments and upgrades, it will eventually have this much damage and AOE and like build up to the specific enemy and interrupt him constantly, and you have to dodge his attack that much. Therefore, it's best gun to use. It breaks the game, not stopping it, but like getting through difficult opponents like a laser gun easily. Therefore, it would be weird as unique, but not standing out externally, but only mechanically. So not only without even showing that it's way more powerful by showing a bigger blast or something. Purely to efficiency. It's like, oh, this gun has like twice as faster clearance because it does this thing in mathematical stuff in your computer. So I guess weird in that it looks the same, but it acts mechanically efficient, or it does build up bleed damage, which I think I mentioned it before. It applies an ability, but if you are efficient, slightly more efficient, ever showing you reach a degree of big difference, I guess it does make a difference. Therefore, you can have a weird gun that is not looking weird, not special than other guns in its statistics, other than it does it faster. And does it eventually so much faster that you will reach a point faster than anyone else does. And maybe, clear the world record or get a scene that most people don't, usually. So you could have efficient weapon builds, or because of an update, and throughout the long usage, play a role. Again, it could be a shooter game, but you're creating a plot here. That hey, I finished these maps, I did so many PvPs, here's my title. If it's a show, then you're showing the attachment to the character. This guy is holding this gun because it was his brother's, his friends, or he found it there, and having one bullet is special, even though it does the same damage because it carries it. It reminds him who he is, and because somebody gassed him with sleeping gas, he was able to wake up, or demons tried to take over his mind, but this gun reminded him of something. Efficiency blood device can also be considered weird guns if you use them correctly, I guess. Again, it's how you depict them. Because you show something to somebody, it's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. Triple barrel shooting guns, yeah, no special. Most people will see this as special. They don't consider this to be the orthodox and canonical way of seeing stuff. Of course, armor, a lot of armor, guns and armor combined, guns inside your armor, elevating guns around you, following you, sure. Guns with legs. It's non-canonical, therefore weird and exciting to some people. Surely escapes the law of physics. As in, like, oh yeah, this spends so much energy, but you don't mention it. It's fantasy. It's more of a feeling, really. And if you're watching it, it works. Okay, ultimate one-shot gun. So it's weird because it's unique, because it does something. I mean, the high rate of fire and spread shows also something. I don't know if it's efficient or just because revved up in stats. And it also shows here some of them are a really high rate of fire, therefore exciting to watch. Now, if you're missing a lot, it's not very exciting. But hey, some people like this. Some people want to win constantly. Therefore, having something that you don't see as much, like the cricket gun in Men in Black, it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick this little thing. Oh my god, this one-shot people, great. It's so weird. They might say this. I have covered quite weird gun meanings here. I think that's it. Yeah, like these guys here, uh, Darth Brandybuck YouTube channel and Liechtenstein, very good job, especially Brandy. Brother here has acquired historical ones, which is great and gets into it. But when it comes to, sheer volume of lists like Gun Jesus here in Forgotten Weapons and fantasy, especially fantasy, we have like Jonathan Ferguson, curator, like firearms and artillery in the Royal Museum. I don't remember, sorry, I don't remember the whole title. And they have this new series, XP, because the previous ones were somewhere else. And they do with Dave excellent work. Dave is providing him the stuff to watch, and Jonathan in the Museum of Royal Armories has stuff to show too. So they make an excellent duo. Whom else have I seen showing you weird guns to look into worth mentioning? I mean, custom guns are also weird, as in the outside. looks weird, or some like burst mechanics built into them, or laser sights. Okay, custom gun. Do I have custom gun, guys? If you search custom guns, you will find people with special ammunition or great builds that takes like an MP40 and they place like a curved magazine and make it look like PPS-43 but more modern, all sort of stuff, right? Or big drums and lasers and the rails. Uh, I mean, yeah, we have the patents. It's devices with guns that looks of okay. This compilation of what we mentioned, like simple history. Here shows you a compilation. I believe this is. So it's devices and firearms, but like a compilation of what we mentioned. Like some of them are have this attachment. Sometimes you see it, sometimes don't. The proportions are a bit small or big than the usual ones. Therefore, they're weird. Shooting from a helmet. Yeah, weird because it's like combining things. Weirdness because of combinations. Okay, not only it doesn't necessarily look on the outside more like a polished or anything, but the combination and the usage is definitely considered weird and unique. And some games could be like the ultimate weapon for some reason. It's fun, unless it's obnoxious to steer and use in the video game or something like that. In a series, yeah. Some people will laugh at it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fantasy anyways. It's meant to be doing that modifications. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it. So thank you everybody for watching this later in YouTube, I guess. That was my birthday stream, 13th of October. This will be uploaded later. I don't know how much later, but at least later. So with that said, I must fare you goodbyes. And we're done. We're done. We had our fill, I believe. Go check them out. I tried to put the links in the description of the shoutouts. At least those I mentioned. Two or three. So with that said, go out there, search for weird pew-pews. It's fantasy, it's lore, it's video games, it's series. Make it stylish, make it unique. Have fun, learn about stuff. It gets into a rabbit hole and it's actually kinda worth it, I believe. To my personal humble opinion. So with that said, bye bye. Bye bye.